and thank you for joining today's webinar, Enabling SEPA Instant Regulatory Reporting with Advanced Analytics. I'm Dean Lindsay, Product Marketing Manager at EastNet, and your host for today. Today, we're focusing on one of the most immediate and complex impacts of SEPA Instant, regulatory reporting. This is not just a new requirement, it's a data analytics and operational challenge that organizations need to get right at scale. We're joined by a guest speaker today, Dominique Alabroic, Senior Business Analyst for VOP and SRTP schemes from the European Payment Council, who will share industry and regulatory perspectives alongside EastNet's experts who will introduce themselves later in the session. In this session, we'll break down what the regulation means in practice and how to operationalize reporting efficiently, what you need to do, and the best practices to stay ahead. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping reminders. Today's webinar will run for around 60 minutes, including the Q&A section. Please post your questions in the Q&A chat in the webinar portal. We'll answer as many as possible live and follow up afterwards with any we didn't get to. The full recording and slides will be shared with all registrants after the webinar and available on our website in the coming weeks. Now, an overview of EastNet. EastNet sits at the intersection of payments, compliance, and financial crime prevention. We provide services to 800 plus institutions, including top-tier banks with coverage across 120 countries. We support this challenge end-to-end across payments, SWIFT, and screening ecosystems. We have strong and significant coverage across financial crime, compliance, and payments, with Payment Safe, SafeWatch Screening, SafeWatch KYC, SafeWatch AML, Payment Guard, Messaging Warehouse, and more. This is critical because financial crime doesn't operate in isolation, and payments are always changing. Across our products, we provide a unified view of risk and to keep pace with regulations as they evolve. Now, I'll hand over to our guest speaker, Dominique.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. So I will present the EPC mission and give a short status update on the SEPA Instant and VOP scheme. So first, the EPC mission. So the European Payment Council is an international non-profit association that represents the PSPs, so the payment service providers across Europe. Our core mission is to promote the harmonization and the development of European payments across the single euro payments area, so the SEPA area. We manage 5 payment schemes and 3 payment-related schemes. We are not regulators, but we engage in ongoing dialogues with regulators and stakeholders to drive the evolution of payments. We can go next slide. An overview of the EPC role. So the mission of the EPC is mainly to harmonize European payments by developing the SEPA area, manage a set of rule books, standardize the implementation of these rule books through implementation guidelines or API specifications, and also foster reachability and interoperability through IT operating tools. A few figures: we have now 41 SEPA countries. We have 3,600 scheme participants, 83 EPC members, and this represents about 50 billion of SEPA transactions per year. Yeah, we can go next. We manage 5, as I said, 5 payment schemes. So the SEPA Credit Transfer Scheme, the SEPA Instant Credit Transfer Scheme, the SEPA Direct Debit Core and Direct Debit B2B, and the OCT Inst scheme, so the one leg out credit transfer scheme, which allows to make international credit transfers much faster and ensures a better traceability. We also have 3 payment-related schemes: the SEPA Request to Pay scheme, the Verification of Payee scheme, and the SEPA Payment Account Access scheme. And on top of this, we manage 2 IT services: the MISP for Fraud and Prevention, and the EDS, so the EPC Directory Service, which is a directory where the API-based scheme participants can store their reachability data or any information that is necessary to ensure interoperability. So we can go next slides. Yeah. The key role of the EPC as a scheme manager, well, we develop and maintain the schemes to always ensure compliance with regulations, with technology evolutions, and also with market needs. We defined a set of rules and technical standards for the implementation of those schemes. And we organize regular change management cycles that are open to any stakeholders. Usually those change management cycles happen every 2 years with a 1-year implementation. There are calls for change requests, then all the change requests that were received are submitted to a public consultation. So this is done in complete transparency. Beside this, we have also other activities like supporting and promoting European payments integration in the fields like mobile and card payments, digital euro. We also represent the PSPs in all the topics related to payments, but we are not a lobbying organization. And we also have activities related to payments security and fraud prevention. So regarding the adherence process to our schemes, so in general, applicants are expected to first consult a NASO before submitting their application to the EPC, because NASOs can answer all the questions related to the adherence document, and they can also provide a preliminary review of the documents of the adherence packs that the applicants would like to submit to the EPC. Then the applicant can submit their adherence document directly to the EPC or give authority to an agent. So NASOs can act as agents. And you can find a list of NASOs on the EPC website. In the adherence documents for all the schemes, you will find 3 main templates: the adherence agreement, a schedule to the adherence agreement, and a legal opinion. For the payment schemes, there are specific eligibility criteria, which can be different for the payment-related schemes. But for payment schemes, well, an applicant should be active in banking or payment services. He should be licensed in a SEPA country. There are solvency, liquidity, and capital requirements, AML requirements, and also the applicant should be reachable through a CSM, so a clearing and settlement mechanism. A short overview of the adherence process for the payment schemes. So first, the applicant should read the documents and adherence guides that are published on the EPC website. Then he has to liaise with the CSM to plan his adherence to, well, his work with this CSM and plan IT and testing. Once this is done and the CSM has given his green light, then the applicant can complete and send the documents to the adherence documents to the EPC. Once the EPC has reviewed the documents and agreed with the adherence of the applicant, it will be included in the register of participants, and at the operational readiness date, it becomes a real scheme participant. For the verification of payee scheme, which it's a bit different because there is no need to have a CSM, a clearing and settlement mechanism, and also the verification of payee scheme is an API-based scheme. So here the applicant will have to use the EPC Directory Service, the EDS. So first, the applicant has to read the documents. then send them to the EPC. And once the EPC has confirmed that everything is fine, then we will send the EDS credential to the applicant. The applicant will have to himself and register into the EDS and update his reachability data and his operational readiness date. I said the applicant himself, but he can also ask his RVM, so his routing or verification mechanism, to do that on his behalf. It's only when the operational readiness date is included in the EDS that the applicant becomes a real scheme participant. So now a few statistics and a status update. So first, regarding the scheme adherence, you can find on the EPC welcome page, on the EPC website, on the welcome page, you can find this table. It's updated daily, and there you can find how many participants we have per scheme. For the instant payment SET in scheme, so we have now in the SEPA area, about 80% of the PSPs are SET Inst, so can offer SET Inst, and this in 36 countries out of 41. The total number of SET Inst, well, the percentage of SET Inst transactions on the total of credit transfer is about 35.6%. But however, on the total of non-cash payments, the SETs only represent 7.2%, and it's a total volume of transaction of about 10 billions per year. So here also we noted that since the IPR, so the Instant Payment Regulation deadline, so it was in October last year, we noticed that there was quite a significant growth in the SET Inst transactions. So, but anyway, if we compare with the other non-cash transaction, SET Inst remain quite low. In this slide, you can also see you can also compare the volumes of SCT compared to the other non-cash payment services. So card payments, credit transfers, direct debit, e-money payments, or checks. So we can see that SCT is growing fast and significantly, but compared to the other non-cash services, it remains quite low. Regarding the verification of payee scheme, so the scheme was launched on the 5th of October 2025. It was the first time that an EPA-based scheme was launched with a massive adoption, so we had to onboard almost all the participants within 6 months. It was the first time that the EPC played an active role to facilitate reachability and interoperability thanks to the EDS. So we also had to put in place the EDS, and we made also available an ART platform, so an API reference toolbox, where the RVMs or the participants can test their APIs. It's also the first time that the EPC had an IT operating role with the ADS, the ART, the RVM certification. The outcome of the launch of the scheme is quite positive. We have really a limited number of issues detected. We were able to mitigate those issues quite fast, or some outstanding issues will be solved in the next VOP release. And the statistics have demonstrated that there was a really low level of error message. So the next steps, regarding the fraud prevention, unfortunately, we don't have statistics available yet. But for the next steps, so we have a version 1.1 of the rulebook that was published on the 16th of March and will become effective on the 20th of September. So this is really to correct or to clarify some outstanding issues that we discovered during the launch. Then we will also have a second version of the rulebook. So the change management cycle for this is ongoing. We received 27 change requests in a call for change request, and now all those change requests are submitted to a 3-month public consultation until the end of June. It is foreseen to publish this second version in November this year, and it will become effective in November 2027. Well, this is the high-level roadmap for the verification of payee, but it's more or less what I just explained. The version 1.1 will become effective on the 20th of September for the version 2. So we are now busy with the public consultation, and it will be published end of November. We also updated the ART, so the EPI reference toolbox, and the EDS, so the EPC directory service. The test environment of those two tools is already available with the version 1.1. Scheme participants are able to test if they wish. A few statistics for the VOP with the caveat that for the moment, these figures are mostly indicative and are not fully comparable because they are based on quarterly questionnaires that are completed, but on a best effort basis by the RVMs. So we don't get the answers from all the RVMs. But as of October this year, we will get more accurate data and on a monthly basis. So this is really for information. But we can see that the volume of VOP requests is growing. The non-reachability rate remains very low. So non-reachability means that the responding PSP was not reached. So either because we were trying to reach a bank that is not yet participant to the VOP, or because it was not found in the EDS. In the total of VOP response, we can see that a match is the most, the main answer received. We have a few no match and a few close match. No up is when it was not possible to make the check. It could be because the account was closed or the account was blocked or it was an invalid type of account. At the moment, we're not able to know the real reason behind, but there is a change request in the change management cycle for the version 2, where we propose to add some reasons, more detailed reasons. So if the change request is accepted, then in the future we'll be able to provide more information on this. And regarding the invalid or the error received, we can see that it's very, very low, and mainly it's due to timeouts. So the response was not received within the 5 seconds, and there are other more technical errors. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Dominique.
Welcome.
I'll now hand over to Olivier. Thank you.
My turn now. So first of all, Dominique, thank you so much for your presentation. It's a real pleasure and honor to have the European Payment Council participating to this EastNet's webinar. Now to my turn, I'd like to introduce the context and the challenge related to the instant payment regulation and what the banks and the payment service provider involved in the various EPC scheme are facing now in the context of reporting to national control authority. So my name is Olivier Denis at EastNet. I'm Business Development Manager for Europe with a special focus on development of the payment business, in particular for SEPA. And it's my pleasure to introduce now a little bit of the instant payment regulation in the context of the regulatory requirement reporting. First, a little bit of reminder about the context of the instant payment regulation, called in short the IPR. It's a European directive that has been voted by the European Council back in 2024 and aim at stimulating the development of cross-border instant payment in Europe. Now, as presented by Dominic in the statistic, it represents already something like 35% of the volume of the SEPA transaction process in Europe. Yet SEPA and SEPA Instant, compared to other payment instrument card processing, remain a fraction of it. And indeed, the purpose of the IPR is really to make a real boost in the development of all payment service using SEPA Instant and Instant Payment across Europe. And this is why the IPR has been voted back in 2025 with an ambitious calendar, starting with the mandate in 2025. I'll get back to the mandates in a few minutes. What is important to keep in mind with the requirement impacting the banks and the payment service provider implementing the instant payment regulation? First of all, there is the technical and operational challenge to deploy in the back office instant payment credit transfer according EPC SEPA Instant rulebook. And this is quite a technical and operational challenge compared to regular SEPA transaction, in the sense that the service has to operate 24/7 instead of 8 hours, 5 days a week. And the transaction have to be processed from initiation until settlement in less than 10 seconds. And some SLAs are now requesting 5 seconds end to end. So it's a real technical challenge to deploy, such a performance, in the back office and in the channel of the banks, in terms of processing and in terms of data collection. The first important requirement related to the instant payment regulation is the equality of charge. The purpose of instant payment in Europe is to become, for all European citizens, the new normal in the coming years. Namely, that instant payment has no longer to be charged as a premium service, charged heavily per transaction by the bank, but charged at very low rate, at the same level as domestic credit transfer and SEPA credit transfer standard, next day or 2 days settlement is charged currently. So that spontaneously and not on the base of cost, the European citizen can move to instant payment as preferred payment method. And this and the regulation authority have a special eye on the respect of those charging principle. We will see that in a few minutes in the reporting constraint. Third important point, and Dominic made a very extensive, landscape of the deployment of the verification of pay. All banks and payment service provider in the SEPA and SEPA Instant scheme have to offer to the retail and corporate customer a verification of paying of service. And also this dimension needs to be tracked in terms of service take-up, transaction volume in the reporting to the national NCA, so the National Competent Authority. Fourth important dimension is the sanction screening obligation. So all SEPA and SEPA instant transaction processed by a banks and payment service provider have to be scanned periodically for all entities involved in the transaction, debtor, creditors, and all intermediary. And last but not least, and this is the main topic of for the webinar today, there is the reporting obligation of all those transaction and service towards the national competent authority. And that has been, included as part of the instant payment regulation last year, with the first mandate for the banks and the payment service provider to report now using the new EBA standard, so the European Banking Authority standard called ITS, so Implementation Technical Standard. So just a little bit about, how the instant payment regulation is evolving and what is the timeline. In the Eurozone, as you all know, and reported by Dominic in EPC statistic, since January 2025 and October 2025, all banks and payment service providers in the Eurozone belonging to the European Union in the SEPA countries have the obligation to offer to their retail and corporate customers instant payment, incoming and outgoing. So be reachable for instant payment processing and be able to offer outgoing instant payment to the retail customer. For the rest of the markets, so the non-Euro countries of the SEPA zone and the non-Euro countries of the European Union, the deadlines are next year. In terms of reachability, it's for January next year, and for outgoing SEPA instant payment, it's April and July next year, depending on where you are, a bank or a payment service provider, electronic money institution, and non-bank payment service provider have a little bit of additional time to implement it. So we see that in the coming years, the development of the IPR and the take-up will be mostly in the non-Euro countries of the European Union and the SEPA zone. And this is also the same for equality of charge and deployment of the VOP service for both SEPA and SEPA instant payment. Now, let's get a little bit more concrete about what is the implementation technical standard issued by the European Banking Authority for IPR reporting. So the methodology used by the European Banking Authority for the reporting standard is called DPM. DPM stands for Data Point Model, and it's mainly a standardized data dictionary, standardize the way the data have to be presented and reported in the SEPA and SEPA instant transaction processed by a bank or a PSP in the report to the national competent authority. Why has EBA created this technical standard? Well, mainly because of the diversity, as mentioned by Dominic. There are 41, SEPA countries with national bank having their own data format and reporting methodology in the context of having consistency and similarity in the way that banks and PSP report the instant payment and traffic to the national competent authority. There was a need for standardization. And that is the reason why the DPM methodology has been created. The DPM methodology is made of three facets, three distinctions. First, it standardized the structure. So there is a syntax model, of course, inspired by the XML ISO 20022 standard, also used in the SEPA rulebook. But more than the syntax model, there is also a reporting processing methodology. And there is also additional syntax semantic definition to make sure that the data provided in the right syntax structure is consistent and systematic. Nowadays, EBA is in version 2 of the specification, and we can expect, and this is also the role of the EBA with the DPM methodology, to make the DPM data dictionary evolving as the SEPA rulebook are changed. As explained by Dominique, SEPA rulebooks are update and change every 2 years. All the schemes are changing, and hence, data dictionary for IPR reporting will be impacted as the SEPA rulebook and EPC schemes rulebook evolve in the future. Now, concerning DPM version 2, what is important is that it has defined reporting template, and my colleague Nadine will present later on, how we have implement those EBA reporting template in our platform. They are based on XBRL taxonomies, and also can be derived in XML or CSV format, Excel kind of format. Next to DPM, you have also additional tools for bank and payment service provider to navigate through the preparation of the structure for the reporting in the context of having a query tool to navigate to the structure of the data dictionary. Table layout in CSV format, really explaining immediately how this is reporting, and the database of all the syntax element defined in the DPM standard. So quite complex at first view, but when you think about the scale of deployment and what it brings to thousands of banks and payment service providers in 41 countries, there was a real need for alignment and single methodology for reporting. So DPM and the EBA ITS is a good thing for the industry. How does it look like? I'm a little bit anticipate on the demo that will be provided by my colleague Nadine. So you have different tables and reporting. You have for credit transfer, so for SEPA Instant, the data have to be reported and segregated incoming, outgoing. International, national, or domestic or cross-border intra-EU charge have to be reported, and also initiation channel, direct, indirect, and paper-based. Also important, and that is an important dimension of the complexity, the status of the transaction and the rejection and the exception case you see in the report form have to be reported. So it's not only a statistic on the volume of the transactions that are processed, but you also have to provide a report on the various status and result of the transaction, if they are positive, they are negative, they have been rejected, and the various reasons why this is this situation. Now, let's have a rapid look at the challenge for banks and PSP to create this IPR reporting using the EBA DPM methodology. First of all, data fragmentation. So when you need to collect those data from various core banking system, back office channel, having different IT technology, platform, database, it's a real challenge to collect those data that are stored in multiple systems in various format and various structure. And not only to collect them, but also to link them with each other, as they are different database with different format, with different structure. So the challenge of matching and reconciling all this information to have end-to-end visibility is a real technical challenge. This is the challenge number one. The challenge number two is, I would say, the technical complexity related to the DPM2 data model format of EBA. This is a methodology that you need to master in your organization. It's not rocket science. It's a straightforward methodology, but you need a deep dive in and really master what it means, the data model, the taxonomies, and in particular align this DPM methodology with your own proprietary data storage format in your bank or PSP back office. The third challenge is an operational challenge. You could say, yes, if I don't have much volume, I'm going to do it manually, okay? But this is an extremely complex process, and even if right now IPR reporting obligation once a year, collecting this data manually, transposing and mapping into DPM format is complex. In particular, if you want to do it, manually. So this is why, the challenge is really in the automation of this process to avoid any manual intervention that can bring errors in this process, where the regulation authority, the NCA and EBA, expect 100% data accuracy. And last but not least, there is, of course, the regulatory pressure, because if you want to, keep your license and keep your NCA, nice and smart with you, you have to report on time with data accuracy. And last but not least, and this is a good transition to the presentation of my colleague Mais. We have developed at EastNets a platform whereby we can collect payment data and having a reporting intelligence with data analytics, to help you in the creation of this IPR reporting. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce my colleague Mais, that will, introduce you the EastNet's messaging warehouse platform for IPR regulatory reporting. Mais, over to you.
Olivier. Yes. So we're going to discuss now, after we have seen the challenges with the Olivier, we're going to discuss how will messaging warehouse support SCT Inst regulatory reporting, and how will it solve the major challenges of fragmentation and the complexity of gathering all the data coming from the different systems at your institutions. So the solution, moving to the next slide, is EastNet messaging warehouse. This is where we come in, where a messaging warehouse will act as a central engine for instant payments storage, visibility, analytics, and also reporting. So the first capability is centralized data capturing, where messaging warehouse can consolidate instant flows and non-instant flows, including PAX 008, PAX 002 messages and other messages, and integrate also with different sources such as hubs, APIs, core systems, and any other bank infrastructure systems. This gives you a consolidated view of the full transaction life cycle. And the second capability is the data normalization, where messaging warehouse can extract and structure the key attributes needed for reporting, such as the amounts, currency, statuses, timestamps, counterparties, and all of the other really important fields for such requirements. This is important because the regulatory reporting requirement depends on the structured and traceable data, such as the examples that Olivier already mentioned. And the third capability is the analytics, specifically the reporting needs. Through the analytics module in messaging warehouse, we can support insights around all of the transaction volumes, amounts, charges, or fees, and also we can generate sanction screening related statuses and failures, or even processing times statuses, all as required. Now, how do we help exactly? We help, of course, in the statistical and the reporting needs in generating the reports and in meeting the regulations, but also we help in other areas. These areas can cover many aspects, such as the instant and access to both archives of your transactions and also the live transactions in real time, the analytics and investigations that you can do through the system, the automation that we perform, and the predictive analysis or the AI analysis. We have also API compatibility to integrate your data to any internal or external systems that you want this data to be displayed on. And of course, the end-to-end and the management of all the transactions in a centralized place that is safe and secure. So this is the bigger picture, the value of centralizing your financial data, where messaging warehouse can be deployed on premises or in cloud, and it can be integrated with different data channels across all of the bank's infrastructure. It includes front-end channels, core banking, AML, risk systems, hubs, etc. And messaging warehouse here becomes the centralized repository for SEPA data and related payment information. For there, you can serve different users and different use cases. For example, the regulatory reporting, which is the most important factor that we have in here. Also, it's important that we mention that not only do we focus on regulatory reporting and operational visibility, but we also focus on what can we help you in the future by looking at the data and the patterns of data. So in messaging warehouse, we have also predictive AI analysis, which takes it to the next step, really. It helps moving from what happened to what is really going to happen or likely to happen next. For SEPA and SEPA Inst, this is important because it can support the questions such as, will transaction volumes increase? Are there expected processing bottlenecks? Is there performance or time likely to deteriorate? And are there any patterns that could impact, for example, the liquidity, operations, or risk? This is why we position messaging warehouse as a decision intelligence, not just regulatory reporting, which is, of course, a very important part of it. So I'll hand over now to Nadine to demo the great reporting capabilities that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mais, for the great overview. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Nadine Al-Badawi, and as today's demo is intentionally very short and focused, I will only concentrate on the messaging warehouse capabilities that are most relevant to your instant payment regulatory reporting and the operational monitoring use cases that you have, rather than just going through all the messaging warehouse modules and features. So let me just share my screen really quick. Dean, can you confirm if you do see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes, perfect. Nadine, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So basically, let us move to the main capability after the payment data is injected to our messaging warehouse. This is the first step. We're injecting the data. Then what's going to happen? Here we have two modules, or the message viewer module. The messaging warehouse has two viewer options. One dedicated for the Swift viewer, Swift related traffic, and also we have the multi-network viewer, which allows the banks to centralize and access the payment data from multiple systems. And this is very important part that already Olivier mentioned. The data is fragmented already between multiple systems, and this is from here we're gonna start our approach, which is downloading or injecting the data to our already database, and then start viewing it from our multi-network viewer. So instead of just checking different platforms and repositories, the messaging warehouse, it provides a centralized operational view already, as you may see here, and you can access all your data, wherever where it is, where it was hosted, to into one already, let's say, one view. In our multi-network viewer, it's the very nice thing that it's super flexible. Okay, so one of the key advantages and the most important part in any system to be flexible, so users can search using either here the data and time, free text search, message identifier also, or any customized query criteria. So in addition to that, the messaging warehouse, it allows the users to save frequently, use search as templates, as you may see here. This is a very high level. Let us go through one of the things that we can do in this view. For an example, I want to see the data that it's coming from the last month. I want to just do a quick search, see all the data, and we can define how many messages I can see per page. So I can access all of them by just double click. I can see all the details related to this transaction details, XML content, if it has already files. From here, as you may see, I can see the whole content as an XML. Also, I can,
Full
if
XML
I have
layout.
files, Exactly,
Perfect.
Olivier. And if I have any file attached to this transaction, I can see it from this part. And not only this, what you want to print from this message or a transaction, you can do it. If you want to print it, if you want to send it by email, or if you want to export it to CSV, export to RGE, or export to XML. For an example, I want to export it to XML, so it's already ready to be downloaded directly. I'm gonna download it, and then I'm gonna access it, and it's gonna open over here. We're gonna do like this, okay? And if you wanna already to export it as a PDF, it's there already. You can print it from here as a save to file or save to PDF. The very nice thing that whenever you go back to the main messages, it's not only about searching for your message. As I mentioned before, I can save the criteria. For an example, I keep searching and doing query for a specific transaction type and etc. So I already, for example, I saved a few templates here. If I want to do search for a specific period and specific message type, I can choose it and apply it, and then just do the search over it, and it's gonna show here all the count 056, and you can do the same approach, access it, do a query over it, access the data, do some maybe decisions based on the data that you have. Also, in order just to access this data or to view this data, you can do one more thing before doing that. If you want to see the count of this data, and that's very nice that, okay, I want to see that the count 056, it has 100 messages out of the whole messages. I'm gonna show you, it's 500 messages already. I'm gonna just do the last 1 month, and we can count it. So we have 500 messages. This is the overall number of the messages that we have in our the SEPA messages, and 100 messages out of these 500 are count 056. Also, I can just choose whatever the template is saved. I can just access it, search about it, and see the data that I wanna do the search over it. One of the most important part that, okay, I wanna see specific data, either by doing a search text, free search text, or doing a query that, okay, I want a message type, specific message type not equal to specific condition value, and I can see, take the values from the data, because I can export it either XML or access directly from messaging warehouse, and etc. So this is the first part and the most important part, that, okay, we're accessing the data after injecting it. The second,
this is a
very
way,
nice,
for instance, to sort or to search on the base of Paxo2, for instance, you know, the category or the reason code of a rejection, for instance, per category.
Definitely, Olivier. So here we can see all the data, we can view it, we can just see some insights about the data, but I'm gonna show you where we can take decisions from the analytics viewer part. This modules, it allows the users to access an interactive report. First reports, generic reports, existing ones, and interactive reports. And these reports, whether they are predefined by the system and the platform, or customized by business user based on their operational and regulatory requirements. So for today's demo, I previously prepared several reports using the SEPA Instant Payments data, including the A0102 already CSV, IPR volume per data report, per direction, the status, rejection. Each one of these reports is just giving an indicator to a specific department, a specific level of the data. So for an example, we have the S0102 CSV. If I want to access, let us go to the formatted one just to show you the titles. So here I already calculated directly the number of sent credit transfers, the number of sent instant credit transfers, the value of these transfers Either we're talking about credit transfers or instant credit transfers, the number of received credit transfers, and also instant ones, and each single detail that it's already there within your data. You can report it and just measure it in the way that you would like to see it using our report, since it's injected. So everything other than that, it's simple. So also, it's not only about the table. If there is like a decision maker and he wanna see by the end of the month that, okay, what's happening over your data, I just prepared like an IPR volume data report that it's gonna show you exactly by message type, each one, what's the volume of it. Also per direction, we're talking about input output volume, we're talking about the status, if it's completed, in progress, hold, whatever what it is. And this is an interactive, by the way. So whatever the data is synced to our database, it's gonna be reflected directly to our report. And also here we have the IPO rejection reason, and it's very important, very nice to see what are the rejection reasons for the data that we have over here. Okay, what about if I wanna already to export it? We can export that. You can just go here, export the report that you did, modify whatever what you want to do. We're using a platform that is giving you the full flexibility to export it in the way that you want to. As you may know, we need to export it as a CSV or with CSV with metadata. The CSV part, we can just do it, we can export it, and other reports types also, we can do it by our messaging warehouse. So it's a super flexible platform. So instead of seeing these reports in different, just fragmented like that, we can just also make like a dashboard that it includes all the reports we made in just like one view. If you want to access it also, this can be scheduled, exported. If you want to just do a schedule for the exporting process, you can just schedule the report. Okay, when you want to run, just create a schedule. Is it immediately on specific date? What is the output options that we have? Do I need to notify specific people within it? So it's super nice to see the flow, the whole flow for our report. So it's more than just a report. And let me show you, since do we have few minutes, Dean? Can I show them how?
Nadine,
Yeah.
thank you for this great demo. Dean, if you agree, and Dominique, I'd like to open up, the floor for questions, because, conscious of time, we still have just 5 minutes, and sorry, Nadine, so let's go to questions, if we have questions from the participants.
Sure, we'll do that now. And thank you very much, Nadine, and for your contributions there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just one moment. So we'll go to questions now. So Dominique, if we could start with you, please, in terms of if someone isn't wasn't aware of what's coming today, what would you say for an institution or a PSP? What are the key actions that they need to take now?
Well, of course, it depends if it's a EU PSP or not. The EU PSP mostly have already implemented the SEPA Instant and VOP. For the other ones, well, I would recommend to already read on the EPC website the documents related to the SEPA Insta rulebook and the VOP, verification of payee scheme. And then if any questions are raised, then you can always contact the EPC secretariat. There is a website where questions can be stored.
Thank you, Dominique. And next question to Olivier. So in terms of a lot of the challenges you were discussing, in terms of those institutions and PSPs, Of the four challenges you said, what would you say is the one key one that they really have to think about?
Well, I think the data fragmentation and data collection is probably the most challenge with data mapping, because of course, as you show and presented by Mais and Nadine, we have a nice tool indeed with messaging warehouse to crunch, compile the data, analyze it. But in terms of challenge number one is really the data collection process, because the data are spread across various systems. As you have seen in the reporting obligation, the reporting IPR reporting has to be specific per channel. What does it mean? It means that a bank or payment service provider has to be in the position to collect the data from various channels, meaning in many cases, different data, different platform, different system, and put in place a process whereby they can collect data. But as you see, it's only channel. You have also the compliance data, because there is the sanctions screening obligation. So a data channel has to be established between the reporting platform and the compliance platform to extract the log files of the sanction screening platform and the data related to all the compliance case, if any, with SEPA and SEPA transaction data. So this is where the big challenge is in terms of analyzing the data channel, analyzing the data model, and also putting in place a collection and centralizing process to a platform like EMW, like Ethernet messaging warehouse. And once you have it, as shown very clearly by Nadine, the tool like messaging warehouse is extremely powerful, really, to extract, analyze the data, and create accurate report, where it's internal report or if it's IPR reporting according DPM2 version 2 EBA standard.
Thank you, Olivier. Appreciate that. And the next question is for Mason. I think what Olivier just said leads into it quite well. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the decision intelligence, please?
Yes, of course. So messaging warehouse helps you either view what has already been built as reporting for you in terms of regulatory, and also it helps you build your own intelligence so that you can, for internal reporting and internal decision making, you can build the needed statistics that you'd like to see. You can see it updated in real time, and all of that helps in the intelligence of making decisions, in addition to even forecasting the future for you. So we study the patterns, we see how the data will look like in the future, so that we can help you avoid any incidents, avoid any sudden data changes or bottlenecks.
Thank you. And in the interest of time, the last question goes to Nadine. Outside of the demo that you just showed us, and thank you for that, it's very detailed and really brought to life our capabilities. Can you just tell us a little bit more what you wanted to show in terms of what you didn't quite get to?
Yeah, exactly. So Dean, basically, we have a lot of modules in the messaging warehouse. One of the most important parts here, that the watchdog module, for an example, in addition to the transaction storage and analytics, it provides a proactive operational monitoring capability. So using this watchdog, the banks can define the monitoring rules and alerts based on specific transaction behavior, status, or even operational condition. And this is very important important. For example, the operations teams can be notified about rejected transaction, abnormal transaction volume, processing delays, and etc. And this enables the team to react quickly to operational issues instead of identifying them manually afterward. And this is only one of the modules. We have a lot of other modules like the AI that already Mais talked about it. We have also the designer that you can design your report. You don't have to just rely on others to design the reports. It's very simple matter of drag and drop. So we have a lot of other modules that we can just show to the financial institutions and other companies.
Thank you, Nadine. I just want to say a big thank you to all of our speakers today, to Olivier, to Mace, to Nadine, and a very special thanks to our guest speaker, Dominique. Really thorough and detailed discussion on the SEPA regulatory reporting, and thank you for your time. EastNets was built to help institutions modernize financial crime payments and full visibility in one environment. So any questions we couldn't answer today, we'll share these with you along with the full recording, all questions and materials in the coming days. And please look out for the invitations for our next webinars across financial crime, compliance and payments. Thank you all for joining today. And yeah, we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.